All right, guys. So we're going to continue today's lesson. So in calculus, here we go. We're going to keep on doing integrals like we've been doing, but we're going to learn a new part today. Today we are going to start on what's called the mean value theorem. We're going to break this up into two parts because the mean value theorem really contains two separate things that you have to find. And before we jump right into it, I'm just open this up. I'm going to go to the notes to make sure you understand this. So if we want to find the mean value of this function from 0 to 3, we actually kind of have to understand what this means. So mean you probably do know as the average. And if you think about it, the average is the total divided by the number of units. And that's the best way to think of it. Oh, there's Mallory. All righty. There we go. Mallory, I was getting worried that you weren't going to show up today. All right. So we're starting on today's unit, which is the mean value theorem. And what I was just saying is that the mean value is like average. So average is going to be the total divided by the number of units. And so I'm going to actually go to the notes that I gave you and kind of describe. Now, these notes that I gave you are really kind of complicated. They're the technical book definition. And so I'm going to break it down here. If we scroll down, the two parts that we need to find. Today, we're just going to first look at the first part, which is the average value. So the average value is the integral from a to b of the f of x. But then we have this new part here. We times by 1 over b minus a. So the way to think of that, I like this graph here. Is like we could have a function that goes up and down as, has no pattern to it, but we can find the integral by finding the area underneath the curve. And so I'm going to annotate here. So I always like to use this example. Say, that's not good, but oh well, we'll use that. Say I have a company, a business, and I have like sales per hour. My sales might start out low, get a little higher, and then dip by lunchtime, and then evening time, and then night. Okay, so there's sales per hour. If I wanted to look at the sales per day, I could go ahead and find the area underneath the curve. Oh, I'm so good at using this screenshot. Okay, but if we take the integral, that would find the area, and that would be the total sales per day. What we're going to do now is, can we find the level that matches the average value, where it's above when we were low and it's low when we are above, but this would be one straight flat line that equals the average value of that day. So in order to do it, what we're going to do is we're going to take the integral, the area, find the total from this curvy line here, and then we'll divide it by the number of units, or we're going to times it by 1 over b minus a. So what this means that we need to do here, let me clear this out, close that. Hopefully you guys can see that, is if I want to find the mean value or the average value of this, what I first need to do, I got to do two things. First thing I got to do is find the total. So do like what we did yesterday and what we've been doing. We're going to find the integral from 0 to 3 of this function, but then we're going to times it by 1 over 3 minus 0. So we're going to take our calculator out and go through this. So I'm going to take my time to try to explain this, but we're going to press math 9 like we've been doing. We'll go from 0 to 3 of our function. And we got x cubed is our equation dx. No, yeah, I see. I already saw what I made a mistake on. I put an x inside. Delete. dx, there we go. Okay, so I get 20.25. Now that would be the total area underneath the curve. To find the average, I'm going to take that answer and I'm going to times it by 1 divided by, now in my head I can do this, 3 minus 0 is 3. What this does, it takes our total of 20.25s and breaks it up into equal parts. So 6 3/4, 6 3/4, 6 3/4, since we have 3 parts. And so there would be our answer, 6.75. So you can see kind of what we're going to do here is we're going to do like what we did the last couple days. and then we're going to add this extra part. So this would be the average value. It's not the total, it's just the average. All right, so we'll start with the next one here. We got, okay, find the average value or the mean value of this function here, radical x from 4 to 9. Well, the first thing we need to do is find the total value of that function from 4 to 9. So the easy way to do this, press math 9. Lower limit is 4, the upper limit is 9. And we have radical x is our equation, dx. So the total value from there is 12.6 repeating. To find the average, we're going to multiply that by 1 divided by, now we subtract the numbers, so 9 minus 4 is 5, because there was 5 units between 4 and 9. And there's our answer, 2.5333. 2.5333. Alrighty. Okay, so you kind of see is what we've been doing, just that little extra step. Okay, let's keep this going. So we got another one from 1 to 3 of 9 over x cubed. So we got to find the total value, math 9, from 1 to 3 of 9 divided by, I'm going to put in parentheses, x cubed. I'll close that parenthesis, get out of there. Okay, x, that looks right, press enter. All right, so that's 4. That's the total value, but then we need to times that by 1 divided by 3 minus 1 is 2. So we get an answer of 2. The average value would be 2. Okay, now here comes a fun one. All right, so find the average value from negative pi over 3 to positive pi over 3 of cosine. All right, so this would be a lot tougher. Like if we were doing this in class, I'd probably make us do this by hand a little bit, and then I'd show you guys the calculator trick once you guys sorted it out. But we'll just keep this easy here. So we got to do math 9 to find the total area underneath the curve. So we're just going to type in negative pi divided by 3, and then positive pi divided by 3. And we got cosine of x. Close it out, close it out. Oh, one too many. There we go, dx. Okay, so the total value would be great. That's a lovely number. Okay, so next what we need to do is times that by 1 over b minus a. What I'm going to do here is just take my time with this. So we're going to times this by 1 divided by, now I could probably figure out, okay, pi over 3 minus negative pi over 3 would be 2 pi over 3. Or we could type it up, but I'm going to type that in, 2 pi divided by 3. Close the parentheses. We'd probably have a reciprocal. All right, and we get this answer, and we're going to cross our finger, hope that works. Whoa, didn't mean to. 0.8270. All right, let's submit this, see how we did. 4 out of 4. Okay, so you guys can see pretty much this mean value theorem is like we've been doing, just an extra step. So this is the average value that we are finding. We find the average value by finding the total, doing the integral like what we've been doing, then we multiply by that fraction at the end. What we're going to do on Tuesday, because you guys have Mondays off and we got a weekend here, is we're going to do the same thing, except what we're going to do is go back and find out, okay, if we have what is the average value, and then where does it on the graph equal that average value? So what that would look like is, okay, we can find the average value. So we have this curve here, the total value was like 20, and then we divided it, and we found the average value is, 3. We're going to find out exactly on those points it equals 3. So that's where this C part comes in. So we're going to take what we did today and add one extra step to that. So, all right. I know that's pretty quick, but any questions over that?
No.
All right. Awesome. Well, have a great weekend. See you guys on Tuesday.